I love this book. This book, tomorrow night's class is based on the original 1926 Science of Mind textbook. And for some reason, about 26 to 37, 11 years after that original treatise on the science of mind philosophy was published, some people started whispering in Ernest's ear and said, oh, this is too complicated for the masses. We've got to, I don't want to say dumb it down because I don't think you can, but we've got to condense it so that people can have short paragraphs and short chapters in the beginning of the book so that they'll kind of be able to get a working understanding of it. And so the original textbook turned into the revised textbook, and we started with the first 4 chapters that are supposed to put science of mind in a nutshell, the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And what I have found is that trying to take this amazing teaching and cram it down into something that's easy to digest loses a lot of the depth and the quality and the power of this teaching. And I didn't even know there was another textbook for decades. All I knew is that I was in Science of Mind. By then I was a minister, and we had the textbook. There was one textbook, and then I found out there's 2 textbooks. Like, blasphemy. What? There's 2 textbooks. And so I entered into this love affair with the original Science of Mind text. It's so simple in that it's got lessons. There are 6 lessons. Lesson 1, and in lesson 1 you've got the introduction, the lesson, and then the recapitulation. You know that teachers, speakers thing that you tell people what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. Well, that's what Ernest did in the textbook. And I found there were things in the textbook that didn't make it to the revised textbook. Ernest wrote about all kinds of psychic phenomenon. Ernest loved to go to table tipping and seances. He said, if you're going to learn about mind, learn about mind. Learn about all of the aspects of mind. Don't just pick and choose about what you think is appropriate to learn about. Learn about it all. He said he sat in a room once and had a cup float from the kitchen into his hand. And he took a drink of it, and it floated back into the kitchen. There are things that we can do in mind that we haven't even begun to tap. Not to mention the healing of the sick and the raising of the dead and the making the blind to see and the pulling money out of thin air. But there are all kinds of other things that we can learn through this teaching. And you know me, I like to push the envelope a little bit. I like to be the bad girl of religious science and say, let's bring back the discussions on sex in the textbook. Let's bring back the psychic stuff in the sex book. Well, here I am in the textbook. Let's bring back some of those ideas that really open us up to the possibilities of life, to all that life has for us. And so I wanted to give us just a little bit of a general overview of what I think is so important in this teaching. First of all, it's not called Science of Mind. It's called Science of Mind and Spirit. But somehow, the powers that be decided that spirit was too much like the spiritualist movement that was going on in the country. It's kind of like, don't call it Science of Mind because it's too much like Scientology, as if we can't learn to differentiate that. I would vote that it would be called the Science of Spirit. It makes more sense to me. What is mind anyway? People translate it into thinking it's their brain, and it isn't. Mind, the way Ernest used it was the energy, was the ether, was the interconnectedness of all life. Let's call it the science of spirit. And if not, we'll call it the science of mind and spirit, the original name. And one of the things that I like about this early textbook is it's a little bit raw. And what Ernest says is that we're not going to try to convince everybody of this teaching. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to the people that already have some kind of an inkling that there is a greater possibility of life, that we can have more joy and more love and more abundance and more health and more wholeness in life, that we were not put on this planet to suffer, that we are not a cosmic joke or a pop quiz with the winning or passing or failing of it being eternal hell or eternal whoopiness with the people that are in like mind, which I'm not sure I want to whoopee with them anyway. But there's something better going on. There's something more going on. And so he said, let's start off explaining the teaching to the people who can see a little bit beyond, who don't believe that just because it's hard and fast means it will never change, who believe that maybe there's something wonderful and powerful within us all that can be brought forth, who believe that there's a power and a presence that will support us in having a better life. Let's talk to those people instead of trying to convince people who are believing that life is out to get them, that there's no way out, that we're victimized, and that we shouldn't even try to have a better life, that there's some anthropomorphic deity up on a cloud that has already decided our fate. He said, forget about that. And what will happen is the people who already have an inkling that a better life is possible will be able to use these principles and use these teachings to demonstrate a life that keeps getting better and better and better. And then before you know it, the other people will look around and go, hey, I want some of that. Hey, I want to know what you know. I want to have a little bit of what you have. And so I look at that as that's what we do here. Not everybody that comes in the door stays. You may have noticed that. Some people say, y'all are crazy. You guys think that every day is the best day ever? Well, how can you have that? There's only one best day ever. You get one best day ever in your life, and chances are you already had it, so the rest of your days are doomed. And you're going to stand up there and say, today's the best day ever. Today's a happy day. You people are happy-holics. I just made that word up. Happy-holics. Not everybody who comes in stays, because as I have often said, this teaching is not for the faint of heart. This teaching asks a lot of us. This teaching asks us that not only do we believe it, not only do we understand it, do we learn about it, do we practice it, but that we stand our life on it. That we awaken in the morning and we claim the day and we decide what the day will hold for us, and we set our intention, our thoughts, our words, and our feelings upon that, and then the day becomes that for us. This teaching asks us to demonstrate it, not just talk about it. And so when I get a group of people whose lives are getting better and better and better, I know that we are in harmony with being the religious scientists or the science of minders, whatever we're calling ourselves, by taking these teachings and manifesting them in our lives. It's amazing what the possibility is. And it's amazing to me what the choices are. Because we can either choose to live our lives in oneness. We can either choose to see the God in you is the God in me and we are one. We can choose to see health and wholeness and prosperity and joy and happiness no matter what. We can choose to see that there's a blessing in here, whether we've seen it yet or not, that only good can come from this, that we live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all. We can choose to see that, or we can move into the world that so many people live in, a world of duality, a world of two-ness. And in the world of two-ness, where most people, I believe, are, is all of the good and bad, right and wrong, me and you, us and them. It's all of the God and the devil, that there is a power for good and there's a power for evil, and that I can have that affix itself to me. I mean, even in this kind of an environment, people go, well, you got to get the entity off of you, that just kind of latched on while you were at the mall. Nothing latched on to us. There's nothing there. There's only light and love and peace and joy and harmony, and our choice is to live in that oneness or to live in the two-ness. And when we live in the two-ness, it's so easy to get seduced into thinking that there are outside powers, that somebody can do something to me, somebody can take something away from me, that there is a situation that's beyond my control. When we live in the two-ness, it looks like two-ness. I mean, here I stand, and here's me, and here's you. It sure looks like there's two of us. And then we hear these more metaphysical thoughts that say we are both the individualizations of spirit. We are both, even to fine-tune it more, we are both spirit individualizing itself as us. We are one and the same. There is only one. It reminds me of Rumi, who said, you are not the drop in the ocean. You are the ocean in the drop. And there's only one drop. That we are not a piece of spirit. We are not a physical being having a spiritual experience. We are a spiritual being having a physical experience, and there is only one spirit. And so we move into these ideas that say we have free choice. I know, sometimes I'm right there. I'm not sure I want free choice. I mean, couldn't I have been an individualization or an individualized point of spirit where everything is just great? Couldn't I have already been individualized as enlightened and only love and joy and happiness and bliss? Wouldn't that be great? Except even that kind of bondage is still bondage. And so here we are, the infinite in form as us, the whole ocean in the drop, that is us. And because it is infinite, you can't have any limits on it. And so if you don't have any limits on it, then anything is possible. It's a two-sided coin. Anything is possible, which means we can royally screw up our lives because we are wielding the power of all creation in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, in our feelings. We can focus on fear and limitation and negativity. We can allow ourselves to be angry and separated and go into the darkness, and we will live that. Or we can focus on this idea of oneness, that there is something within us that is all things. There is something within us that is connected to all things. And it is what we are. And when we can focus on that, then that connection is made manifest. So, yeah, the deal was almost about to just crash and burn, except that phone call came in at the last minute. Well, what brought that phone call in? The consciousness that says there's always an answer, there's always a solution, only good can come from this, and spirit is all that there is. And so then, instead of crashing and burning, everything works out. Then, when we didn't know how there was a way, how there would be a way showed up. Because we are in the oneness. The power of the oneness is amazing. Not only does it connect us with everyone and everywhere and everything, and catch this, every when. The past and the future are all in this now moment. All possibilities are in this now moment. Not only does that oneness connect us, much like the native people used to say, or my native teacher, Rocking Bear, used to say, that there's a golden spider web, and it connects everything. And Grandmother Spider can move on that spider web wherever she wants to be. And so if you look at that in the light of quantum, there is only this point right here and right now, but it's not a separated point. It is all points in form as this point now. And you and I are Grandmother Spider. And we can go anywhere we want to go. We can connect with anything that we want to connect with. We can be anywhere that we want to be. We can have whatever it is we choose to have. We can know whatever it is we need to know. That's where intuition and guidance comes in. How did we get that guidance? Somebody didn't come knocking on our bedroom door at 3 o'clock in the morning and say it. We just got it. How did we get that? We got that because we are everywhere at once. The possibility and the potential of this teaching boggles my mind, and I've been in it for over 40 years. Our ability to reach out into thin air and to manifest into our lives is right here, but that's just the top of the surface. Our ability to open up to amounts of joy and love that are infinite is right here. How we can feel bad is beyond me. We've got to really work at it. We've got to turn our back on all of the support and love and joy of life, and we've got to just focus on this one little nitpicky thing that somebody did wrong, but you don't understand. That was wrong, wrong, wrong. No, you went into two-ness. Come back to the oneness. Come back to the idea that says there's a power within you that can do things that even you have no idea about. That we wield this power, not because we are super cool kids who go to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, not because we are special, but because we are all. We wield this power simply because we are. We don't have to turn into anything. We don't have to get anything. We don't have to go anywhere. It is the essence of who we are. A life of joy, a life of happiness, a life of health and wholeness and prosperity. And for me, to have that available to the world. We have over 10,000 people on our website every month. And some people think, wow, that's a lot of people. 10,000 people on our website. I'm talking to you. That's a lot of people. And I go, there's 7.5 billion of us on the planet. I would really like to have this teaching in every language, in a form that every person could have access to. But you know, it takes me back to what Ernest said. The people who are open to the idea, they don't have to know how to have it. They just need to know that somehow, some way, there is a possibility that my life can get better. That just because I'm in a village somewhere with 10 kids and it appears that we don't have water or electricity or food, that is not the truth. That is not the highest truth of life. That somehow there is a possibility that my life can get better. So Ernest says, talk to those people. Talk to those people and teach them that if you think it, if you know it, you will grow it. If you name it, you will claim it. If you focus on it, you will be able to have it in your life no matter what the circumstances are, no matter what the political situation, whatever the economy is, no matter what. Because that essence of us, that ocean in the drop as us, that God in form as us, goes beyond any problem, any circumstance, any situation. And we don't have to go get it. We don't have to sell our soul for it. We don't have to be someone that we're not to have it. We already came with it, perfect, whole, and complete. And this idea that says we have to change to be holy enough, newsflash, this is as holy as you're going to get. This is as holy as you're going to get because you don't need to get holier. You are already whole. You are already the absolute in you, as you, is you now. And if we start to open up to this, if we start to really act as if this teaching is true, if we really choose to see God in every person, to see the perfection of the experience, to know that everything already has whatever it needs to be the way that we choose to have it be, if we choose to turn away from the conditions, to stay out of two-ness and darkness and judgment, and act as if this really does work, we're going to show demonstration after demonstration after demonstration. We're going to have people come in and have healings, people come in and have transformations, people come in and demonstrate lives that just keep getting better and better and better. And from this point, we reach out into the world. And 10,000 this month? Who knows what it is next month? Who knows how much those 10,000 demonstrate a little bit better, and then somebody else in their family, somebody else in their village, somebody else in their town says, I want what you want. And before you know it, this illusion of duality and darkness is vanished. I believe that we are light bearers. I believe that we came in to usher in the Aquarian age. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I know I'm a couple of decades off, but I believe that. I believe that we are here with purpose. And I believe that the greatest purpose that we can actualize in our lives is to live the spiritual life. But that doesn't mean to be all pious and holy and better than. For that matter, it's more like Mother Teresa, that we're all in this together. You are another myself. In Lakish, in Lakim. You are another myself, and I am you, and I see me in you, and I see you in me. And when I can see that, I feel the oneness. I open to my power. I am that person that I have chosen to be, that I've always had a hint of, a glimpse of. Really? Really, is life supposed to be a struggle? You remember saying that when things were really tough? Is this really what life's all about? It's like, what's it all about, Alfie? Is this really what life is all about, that I'm supposed to struggle and scrimp and work 3 jobs and never have enough and be afraid? I don't think so. I think there is a part in all of us that, given half a chance, will wake up and rise up and say life was meant to be better. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that there is a way. I don't know what to do, but I know that I will be divinely guided and directed the entire way, because something is in me and something is in you. This is a wonderful path that we're on. In the original 1926 Science of Mind textbook, which I will remind you not only is on a free PDF download, but you have 10.5 hours of Barbara Waterhouse reading that as an audio book, and I've been tuning into that. I am an excellent reader. I am an excellent reader. Now, I know that it took me 10 years to do that. That was my back burner project for 10 years, to get the original textbook on audio file for a free download, because not everybody can read. Not everybody can read English. It's interesting, a lot of people speak English. So I was listening to myself, and I was reminded of some of the amazing things that Ernest says in that. And I'll start with my favorite. It is lesson 2, the introduction, the last paragraph. And Ernest says, mental science, which is the science of mind and spirit, makes a tremendous claim when it states that it can free the individual from the bondage of sickness, poverty, and unhappiness. But it makes this statement without hesitation and without qualification. It does not retract from that claim, and it never will. It does, however, carefully set forth the conditions under which it operates and the laws governing life, warning man that unless he understands these conditions and obeys these laws, he will not receive full benefit from the science of mind. Anybody who's willing to learn about this, anybody who is willing to act in alignment with not only the love of life, but the law of life, anyone who is willing to take responsibility for everything in their life, realizing that the only person that can change their life is them, anyone who is willing to put in the time to do the meditations, to do the affirmations, to do the treatments, to see practitioners, to see friends, to have someone be with them as they open up to these greater possibilities. Anyone who is willing to give it a go will derive amazing benefits from this teaching. We have in this very room had people who had kidney failure, and within a couple of weeks it was completely healed. We have in this very room had people who were diagnosed with thyroid cancer. And by the time they took the thyroid out, the pathologist said, "Why'd you take out this perfectly good thyroid?" We have had people in this very room, like Judith, have her life changed or his life changed. We have had people in this very room open up to the idea that there is something amazing inside of us. That's the promise of this teaching. That poverty, sickness, unhappiness is not going to stay. It may have come to pass, but it did not come to stay. And that by using these teachings, we can turn that around and we don't hesitate. That's what I love. That raw courage of this original textbook. We do not back down from that statement. I don't care if you're on your last breath. I don't care if they're coming to cart you away. We don't back down from it. We don't qualify it. We don't say, well, if they come up with a new drug, or if the lawsuit goes your way, or if your mother finally realizes that she loves you, we don't qualify it. Right here and right now, in this now moment, infinite possibilities are ours, awaiting for us to stand straight and tall, to grab our spiritual magnificence, and to live the life that we were meant to live. We are the ocean in the drop. We are God in form as us. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. Everything is already here. Everything is now. Everything is ours, and so it is. Hi, I'm Barbara Waterhouse.
And I'm John Waterhouse. Thank you for watching this message today.
Through our website, cslasheville.org, we have over 1,000 messages, classes, and New Thought books, all to download at no charge to anyone.
Producing this incredibly valuable collection of ideas is really making a difference in the world. It's changing lives everywhere.
Please go to our website, cslasheville.org, and click the Donate button. You can support this life-changing ministry, and when you do, we'll send you a note of thanks and also put you on our daily prayers.
By doing this, you're helping to raise the consciousness of people across the entire globe. We're changing lives together, those lives that are being more prosperous, more healthy, and more joyous. Thank you for being a part of this important work and supporting what we do here at CSL Asheville.
Thank you.